We look like we're working to me. So what do we got today? Well, we have the Death Cube. So what is the Death Cube? This is a bunch of the modular spaceship interior terrain from Saucerman Studios. I went through a couple of different brands till I found this one that I liked. So this is from Saucerman Studios, and I kind of put it together using these 6-inch tiles. This one's still kind of wet from the oil wash. Um, but I put it together using these 6-inch tiles. And the idea is that it is going to be a 1 foot by 1 foot kind of gaming cube. And this is the second floor. So the first floor and second floor are connectable, like that. And it gives us a 1 foot by 1 foot kind of gaming area, play space kind of thing. It's probably a little hard to see because it's a little tall. But my plan for this is that I'm going to be able to set up all my cameras to kind of see one face of it, and then I'm going to rotate it on my Lazy Susan. So the end result. Here, let me turn the other camera on. End result should be something like this. There we go. Come on. Okay. Or not. It's fine too. One second. Nope. Ba 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 da ba ba da ba. Deactivate. Activate. Okay, cool. So the end result should be something like this. So it will end up being this 2x2 spinning game board where I can have minis and stuff all moving around inside. And you should be able to see every face of it really well as it spins. So obviously I'll need to get the cameras like really set up for it, but the intent is that I'll have this kind of space to kind of play in and kind of condense it to like really kind of like one thing. I mean, the most I'm going to do after this is kind of put scatter terrain in it, and yeah, that should be it. Um, and it should work pretty damn well. At least that's the hope. That is the hope with it. So yeah, so that is the intent of the Death Cube. And the fun thing is that the two floors not being connected means that I'll be able to do things like move them around because like the one has the hole in it. So, now that hole there, guys can now go woo down into this room, etc., etc. Right? And then because the positions are fixed, like the layout's fixed, my intent is to paint up these tokens, and they'll actually work as places to move between the floors. So like that one would go to, I don't know, in this game we might put it down here, right? So you go in there, you come out here, right? It's just a little bit of like video game logic, but I think we'll keep it being really kind of fresh and fun from a gameplay perspective. Because it means I'll be able to change these around. So I'll be able to like have different spawn points and starting locations, right? Like maybe in one game they need to go down, and the next game they actually start at the bottom and then they go up, kind of thing. Um, so yeah, so that is the death cube. That's what we're going to be working on today. I had another guy. Where did he go? Oh, he went down through the hole. um, yeah, so that's what we're going to be working on today. We're going to be working on the death cube. I do only have a limited amount of time to stream today because I'm going to go see that movie with the rock alien. My husband wants to see that, so we're going to go see that. But we can stream right up until I have to leave, basically. So, all right. So we're going to start off with a couple of steps. We're going to see how far we get. Just kind of do our best as we go. So, step one, I'm going to use this big plate here that looks like it's mirrored in poop. Oop, there we go. And I'm going to get out some of this garbage black paint. This is just like Cracker Barrel, like Walmart paint. And we're going to make sure that I filled in everywhere on this. So, where's my big fuck off brush? Sorry, everything's kind of all screwed up. One of my shelves fell down last night. So I've got G.I. Joes all over my other desk. Alright, so we're just gonna go around and make sure that the primer kind of got everything. Because some of the stuff I did in black plastic, and then some of that I had to do in kind of a purpley pink, which is a really nice FDM. I got it off Amazon. It's like a purple. It turns into a pink color. It's really cool, but doesn't exactly work for something called the Death Cube. So, given that I kind of want this to look like a cross between a Fallout Vault and the like Rust Hell from what's the name of that card show? Not show, game. Fuck. That wasn't called fuck. James Sunderland, Silent Hill 2. Yeah, I kind of want this to look like a cross between a Fallout Vault and the Rust Hell from Silent Hill 2. So, because of that, we kind of need to start from not pink to purple. So I'm just hitting a couple areas where pink to purple is coming through a little bit more than I want it to. And we'll, just kind of make sure everything's got some color to it, or some like base coat to it. But yeah, so this is just base coated with like generic, what is that thing called? Like a construction store, DIY store, like generic kind of black spray paint from there. Honestly, I use all the spray paints that I have. They're kind of all from the like DIY stores, because the getting the like fancy spray paints out here in Hawaii really sucks. It's a pain in the ass. So a lot of my spray paints are all from the DIY store. I know some people are like, "Oh, you need to get this special primer or whatever," but I really like the generic like stuff from the DIY store. It does a good enough job, you know. Very rarely Am I painting such fine models that it's like filling in details on me? Because you just kind of zip zap zippity zoop it. You don't really like get in there and lay it on, you know? The priming step is usually about just giving a tooth to what you're working on more than filling in color, right? Like, it's one of the few instances where I'm like actively trying to fill in color with my priming step. It's usually not how I work at all. I usually am just like, oh, got to get something on the model so it's got some tooth. All right. Okay. I think that's probably good. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this and we're going to shove it to the back. It's going to the back. Why is it going to the back? Because we're going to pull up the big one. We're going to pull up this guy. That's why it's going to the back. Hello. Actually, we're going to put it on the floor. All right. So, since we're putting that on the floor, what I want to do is... Where the fuck is my water dropper? Oh, there it is. Apologies, I'm trying to find something. I'm trying to find a paint. Oh, it's literally right there. Oh my god. Ay, ay, ay. All right. Good job, brain. Good job. Now I need my stupid thing. My desk being covered in G.I. Joes that fell off my shelf does not help me right now. All right. So what do we got to do? So these yellow sections here, you can see they kind of have this mottled effect already. I want to like exacerbate that more. So this was done by doing a couple different layers of this khaki color from Pro Acryl in a couple different thicknesses. So some of these were more watered down than others. Um, and I just kind of stippled it on a couple different ways and times. And then I did the entire thing in a custom oil wash that covered everything. So what I want to do is I want to pull back some of the khaki color and kind of accentuate the kind of fucked upness of it. And I want some areas to be more like brighter than others because I think it'll accentuate how messed up other areas are really well. So what I'm doing is I'm just mixing a little bit of that khaki and some water. Don't really have, I put 2 drops of water in and I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 drops of the khaki. So it's very, very goopy. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to get stippling. This is going to look crazy at first. Oh, the oil is not dry yet. Look at that. Okay. Uh, shit. Okay. All right. Maybe we won't be doing that then. Interesting. I thought this was more dry than it is. But I guess the water in the paint is causing it to bubble. While that is an interesting effect, it is not the effect I want. Okay. Hmm. Well, I guess I might have to top coat this whole thing then before I um do any other work to it. So I guess it's gonna have to wait another day and then I'm gonna have to top coat it. Man, well that sucks. Uh okay. Well, you know what? That's fine. Yeah, I was looking forward to doing the stippling on this one, but okay, that's fine. That's fine. We will let this one sit and we will do the stippling another time, I guess. I guess that's gonna need to cure some more and then we'll go from there. All right, well back to this big one. She's still drying in some areas, so we're gonna do some other stuff. So we'll actually work on the hatches while she's still drying. It has been very wet in Hawaii to say the least. We've had like uh kind of like end of days levels rain recently out here. Including like all this crazy flooding and stuff, so alright. So we got our big boy here. Do we use this other guy? I'm gonna use the big boy for this one. Alright, so this is just a makeup brush. I think it was like $2 at Walmart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of this brown. This is Apple Barrel Chocolate Bar. And get a little bit of this on there, and I'm going to kind of work it around. And what we're going to do is we're going to do like a heavy dry brush on this. So, all right. Our goal is just to kind of get it kind of everywhere and looking kind of like that. We want it to be heavy. We don't want. They actually refer to this as overbrushing. That's the real name for this. Because it's like dry brushing, but messier and heavier. Um, and the goal is not really just to get it on just the edges, it's kind of to get it on everything, but kind of spottily. You know, so really, we want to leave some areas without it, but we also kind of want it literally everywhere. So this one's got a lot. I hit this one too hard. Yeah, see, that one's done too hard. This one's done kind of just right. So we'll have to hit this one with a bunch of the silver when the time comes. All right, well, since this is still drying, we'll go ahead and we'll hit the areas of it that we can, at least. So, because there's still a lot of areas on this thing that we can hit. So, just gonna kind of keep going with the same concept. All right, we put a bunch of this shit on our brush, and we kind of just go to town. Just kind of work it all over the place. And it's gonna work. It's gonna result in bigger smears. It's gonna result in some stuff kind of just being highlighted. And just kind of gets everywhere. And kind of just get a nice effect out of it because of that. And you can really see it grabbing the like highlights and stuff. Alright, anywhere we get too much, we're just going to try to work it around. And yeah, just going to go around and hit the whole freaking thing like this. Not trying to be neat, but we do want to make sure that we're getting it kind of everywhere. Um, and disgusting brown rust adjacent mess is our goal. So that's where we wind up. It's good because that's where we want to be at the end of the day. And see, this corner's probably got too much on it, but it's fine. You can figure that out as we go. All right, there we go. And you get too much in some areas, and you get a little bit in other areas. And overall, we're looking for kind of a crazy, it's everywhere kind of thing. So this is one of the like underpainting steps that we're going to be doing. So after this, um, we are going to be getting a silver kind of like actual dry brush over the whole thing. And the intent there is to kind of get it on the edges. But we will also end up inadvertently doing some of the areas of the board too. So we're going to end up having things like scratches and stuff like that kind of all over the board. Which is good because it'll give us kind of that kind of like destroyedness that we want, right? Like the other finished board that I've showed off, that really is kind of like our goal. That's really where we want to get to. So obviously we will probably not get there today because I think I'm basically gonna have to quit once my husband gets out of the shower because we're kind of already pretty low on time. But I'm gonna at least get this step done before I leave. So, but yeah, so the next step's gonna be a silver dry brush, just kind of intentionally catching the edges, but also we are going to, catch some streaks and stuff with that as well. And then after we get that dry brush on, our goal is going to be starting to detail paint. So I don't want to pull out every single detail on this because these are very detailed. These things from Saucer Man Studios, extremely detailed. I don't want to pull out every single bit from them because they would just be too much then. There's so many details on these things that like, ooh, that's a lot of brown there. Okay. That man, like, we would be here for like a century. And more importantly, it would also kind of get really cluttered looking if I did that, and I really don't want that. So, always a big proponent of the terrain is the setting for your guys. It is not the star of the show. So, while it is nice to have really fun looking terrain, it should always be kind of in the background. Yeah, and you can already see as it's starting to dry that it's getting a whole lot less bright, right? Like this is really going on super bright, and then as it dries, you can kind of see that starting to chill out. It sounds like my husband's getting dressed, so we should be leaving shortly. Let's use up the rest of this brown before I call it. But yeah, gotta go to the movies, but I still wanted to do something today, you know? I didn't want to get up to nothing. Wow, that is a lot of brown. This area is going to be really rusty. Guess that guy could use a little more glue. But yeah, I went through several different because I had this idea for like kind of a this cube, right? My death cube here. I had this idea and I really liked it. It took me a couple rounds of 3D printing to find STLs that actually worked really well for this. Um, there's a lot of the STLs that I found that were this kind of like facility kind of walls and doors thing. Um, they were all really nice, but a lot of them actually couldn't do like more than like 2 levels. So because of that, it just wouldn't work for me because I knew that I wanted this to be like a 1 foot by 1 foot kind of thing. Um, like I knew that kind of going into it. So as I was trying out different STLs, I realized they just wouldn't work. But yeah, these ones from Saucer Man Studio are awesome, and there's a ton of different options for them. Um, and apparently this was originally a Kickstarter. This is called Dark Hive Assault or something like that. Um, originally it was a Kickstarter, or maybe not a Kickstarter, maybe a uh, Tribes, not Tribes. That other thing that's not Tribes. Not Frontiers maybe. But it was one of those kind of things. And now you can actually just buy it in piecemeal, which makes it more expensive if you want everything. But like, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff on there that I didn't want, so uh, you know, it worked out for me. So like from like their second frontiers for this set, because there's a whole so many pieces for this set. Like I bought one thing, right? So instead of buying the whole like $100 pack, I bought like $10 worth of stuff, and I got the one thing I wanted, which is really nice. Um, all right, so we still got a couple areas that are too wet to hit, but I think I'm gonna have to call it there. So let's take a look around, and then we'll talk about what next steps would be. So, all right. So, um, you can see how it's starting to dry, right? Getting that kind of like brownish in there. That's what we want. You can see some areas are really brown, some are less so. Right, so this corner is extremely brown, but it's okay. So let's talk about next steps, and then I'm gonna have to call it so I can go to the movies. Okay, so next steps to get to this, which is what we're trying to get to, right? I am super happy with this. This is our end goal. Let me put this guy down on the floor. Um, okay. So this is our end goal. This is where we want to go. So next steps. Um, next one is going to be a light dry brush of silver. That's not going to be super light. It's still going to be pretty heavy in some spots. You're going to see it particularly in things like right here, there, where there's kind of like bigger chips out of it. You're going to see it in those areas. Um, not flat. Oh well, that's I can figure that out later. This one side's popping up a little. Um, so yeah, so you're gonna see it in a couple areas, like all these scratches here and stuff like that, right? Kind of just all over like we just did, but lighter than what we just did. And then we're going to get into picking out the details. So this is going to be things like the pipes. This is going to be stuff like the screens. Um, you can see some screens right there, right? We're just going to kind of pick those out in their base color. The writing on the screens, that comes later. So if we do that right away, it's going to get really, you're not going to see it super well. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to pick out our base colors. That's going to include a whole lot of like kind of stipply, kind of scratchy painting on these wall sections here, where we're going to fill in. So that's going to be that khaki color. Then we kind of go through our base coats and just fill in everything. And then we get into the oil wash. So a couple other things that I picked out as well. There's a couple of copper pieces around, and then all the different pipes and stuff like that as well. So then we get into our oil wash. And it's going to need to set. Obviously, it's still not set enough because we can't stipple yet because the water and the oil are still separating. So it has not cured enough yet. So that's going to need to set. And then after that, a bunch of texture paint in a couple of areas, kind of splattered around just to fill in some texture and detritus in some of the corners and stuff. Um, and then we do the painting on the screens. Then the screens get their text. Because if we did that earlier, it would be a lot harder to read. And that's just kind of like little like little kind of like up and down kind of squiggly motions to make text. Um, and then the next step would be the stippling on the additional color to kind of get in some more color variation into the walls. So just a watered down version of that base color again. But she's still separating, so that's going to have to wait. And then also I painted in all the floor tiles. So all the darker spots in the floor, the reason those are so dark here is because those all got thought it was that one, but it's not. Those all got a base coat of Gravelord Gray. All the like kind of bigger, flatter areas, yeah, they all got Gravelord Gray, and it just darkened them down a little, made the floor a little bit darker than the walls, which is what I wanted. Um, I also thought that might help it film a little nicer too. But yeah, so that's the Death Cube getting started. But I'm gonna go have to watch a movie about a guy and a rock alien, and yeah, hopefully the next time I'm showing off the Death Cube, she is all done and we're actually playing on her because I think that's going to be the really fun for the Death Cube is getting the actual games in on it. So I'm so unnecessarily hyped about this. Like, and then so cool. The cool thing is, if I ever get tired of playing on these ones, I can keep this idea running and keep the idea running and basically there we go. Make other floors if I really, really get tired of playing on these two. But honestly, there's so much kind of fun potential in playing on this. I am really excited for it. Um, I'm really kind of trying to leverage the fact that when you play tabletop games, your guys really don't move that far. Your guys are like usually like 6 inches move at most unless they're running. So I think that's what I'm trying to leverage because I think really the bigger, more giganticer boards really there's so much wasted space, right? And I think if you do something like this, you can kind of have that cool crampedness of a really cramped board, but also have easy access to everything. Like there's nothing in here that you're not going to be able to see well or that you're not going to be able to reach well. And I think it should make really cool battle reports because of that. So, but yeah, I gotta run. I gotta go to the movies. Um, Thank you guys for watching. I will be back next week. The Death Cube will not be done next week, but soon, soon. But anyway, have a good one, and